Hello everyone and welcome to my tutorial on how to create your tone using your Pod HD Pro or any other Pod HD series because they all work the same. Today we're gonna go over a lot of basic stuff that you'll be using to create your tone. I'm not saying this is the perfect way to do it or the only way to do it. There's 1,000 ways to do this, and there's 1,000 videos on YouTube and other parts of the internet that show you how to do this very good. Okay, so let's get through this. We're gonna start off by choosing our amp and cap, and of course our mic. And right now we're at the pre's, and the pre's can be cool, but I mostly just use them when I'm playing through an actual amp, and when I'm modeling everything I just like to use the real amp models because they sound, just a bit better. So right off the bat we're gonna use our Angel F-Ball. I like this one because it's very crispy, very crunchy, yeah. That's what it sounds like. I'm using an RGD 2127FX with stock pickups, by the way. That's just my main guitar. And it's tuned to drop G sharp, just so you know. So now we're gonna choose our amp and our mic. I like the XSL cap because it's just very bassy. It sounds very heavy. And I like to use the 57 on-axis mic, which is a very bright and clear mic. And I don't really use any early reflections. So let's get to this. We're gonna start off by switching our amp parameters. I'd like to boost the channel volume because it's just a bit too soft. 80% is fine for me. You can go with whatever you like. 80% is just, that works for me. Yes, you can hear it. It's a bit louder. Doesn't really do anything much else. I like the presence at 50, and well, presence can be very annoying when you add too much, so 50 is just right for me. First off, this is way too much drive. I'd like to keep it about 20, 25 should be fine, I think. Just, too much drive can really fuck up your tone, get it real muddy, and I don't like muddy. I like a tight and clear sound. Bass can also make it very muddy, and since we're using a 7 string, I'm just gonna get the bass to about 50%. Mid is about right. I'd like to keep it at 65. I like to round the numbers up to even, yeah, just round numbers, just 5 or 0. And bass, the bass treble, 55% sounds right to me. This is what it sounds like right now. And this is pretty okay, but we can screw with these amp and cap parameters a bit, just to give it a little more punch. Sec, we're gonna put that down to 30. Makes it a bit more tight. Hum really doesn't do anything in this amp, I think, so I just keep it at 0 just to prevent any mess we're making. Bias and the bias excursion, I've experimented with this. I just like them at 50%. I like to put them at 100 for my lead tones, but we'll get into that when I do a lead tone tutorial. Low cut, I don't use that. I like to do that in the post-recording production stuff, because when you do it right here, you're stuck to it, and when you do it in your DAW, you can just mess around with it till you find something to your liking, and it's gonna change per song. This is not something you want to do in your tone itself. Also, this way you have a nice bassy tone for live use, because I like to use the same tones live and in the studio, and I'm probably the only one that does that. I don't know. Resonance level, I like to just put it down a bit to about 40. I like 40. Thumb, but just keep it at 50, and decay I put it down to 25, just to make everything just a bit tighter. So this is what it sounds like right now. So that's starting to shape up a bit. Right now we're gonna go into everything around our amp. So we're gonna start off by using a noise gate. This is the first thing you might want to add. Threshold at 50 is the max setting you can do without compromising your tone. Anything above 50 just kind of makes your tone sound a bit fake, really fake. Decay I like to keep it 0% just to tighten it everything up. This is really the tightest setting you can put your noise gate to. So yeah, it's not as extensive as the XFX stuff is, but it's okay. It sounds tight. It does its job fairly well. Right now we're gonna go in and add our tube screamer. The tube screamer is just basically something to saturate your tone, add a bit more crunch, if you will. I'm gonna explain everything I do in here. I'd like to keep the bass at about 40. Since we're using a 7-string guitar, you already have a lot of bass, and you don't want to distort your bass because it gets really muddy really fast. And tone just 100%. That's just self-explanatory. You want to use 100% of tone because otherwise it just doesn't sound as crispy as you want. Treble just 50. I just really mess around with this a lot. Drive we put at 0% and output at 100. This is to maximize our output just to 100% without really distorting our sound. So just to add a bit more crunch, crispiness, if you will. So this is with it on, and this is with it without the tube screamer. Just sounds a bit more aggressive. And I like aggressive. I mean, that's what you're going for when you're playing metal, right? So, right now we're gonna go and put another noise gate in there just to filter out the excess noise. Same settings, basically. Every time I use a noise gate, it's the same settings. And now we're gonna go into what I think is the most fun part. It's the post EQing. First, another noise gate. That's right, another noise gate. 3 noise gates. Because I like to filter out any excess noise we have in our tone, just to get it as tight as possible, because you don't want anything to come through like that. And that's already pretty bad. Because yeah, well, you can filter out more using less drive, but 25 is right for me, so. So that sounds pretty good. Now we're gonna go ahead and use our post EQing extravaganza. We're gonna use 2 EQs, and we're gonna use them not very efficiently, because I'm gonna use 2 EQs and we're having 4 parameters we can change, and I'm only gonna use 2 of them because those are the right frequencies for me. First I'm gonna cut off 700 Hertz, because, well, this is what it sounds like with the 700 Hertz, and this is without it. And that's basically anything muddy is in there, so I'd like to cut that out. And then we're gonna add a bit more crispiness, and that's around 1400 Hertz, and makes it more aggressive, I think. I like to keep that about 4. So this is what it sounds like now. That sounds pretty good. Right now we're basically done. One more thing. the studio cues kind of cut your volume a bit, so if you want to keep it as loud as you had it before, I suggest gaining it up through 3 dB per studio cue, because I found that that's basically what it cuts out. So I'm gonna just go ahead and put another noise gate in there to filter any excess noise we don't want from the studio cues. And this is basically it. This is what I do for my tone. There isn't really much to it except for the post EQing, which is basically where the magic happens. And well, this is what it sounds like now. And well, I like that. I don't know if you like it. Tell me what you think of my tutorial. Should I do more? Leave your answers in the comments. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments too. I'll try to get them as soon as possible. Thanks for watching.